Be looking at how to duplicate something, the difference between duplicating, copy and paste, clone, and also I'll be looking at the spray tool. Now let's start with just duplicate. So let's draw something. We draw something like a star. To duplicate it, you just select the star. You use the selection tool to just select it, and then you go to edit, and then you do duplicate. Now what do you see here? You don't see the duplicated object is lying exactly on top of what we selected, so you can pick it up. You see it's duplicated. Now what's the difference between duplicate and copy and paste? This is selected. You do copy, and with paste you select wherever you want to paste it. Maybe I want to paste mine here. I right click and then I just paste it there. So that's the difference between duplicate and copy and paste. Now let's look at what's the difference between a duplicate and clone. This is already selected. I go to edit, and then I go to clone, and I say create clone. The same thing, what you cloned comes to lie exactly on the selected object. But let's look at what is the difference. Now this is the parent, or what we first duplicated, or what we cloned. If you select it now and then we try to maybe change it, let's make it smaller. See, when you change it, it changes the child, or the original one. Whatever you do to the initial one affects this one, but here the duplicated one, whatever, it does not affect it in any form. So that's the difference between duplicating and cloning. And if you use the clone here as well, I would be doing a video on clone on its own, but I just want to add this, that if you want to have many clones, you can go to create clones, and then you can decide how many rows and how many columns you want. I'll be doing a video looking exactly at all these, but for this video I just teach you this one. And then let's see, here we have this. If we do create, it creates, we wanted 2 rows and 2 columns, so that's what we have. Now the next thing I would want to do, because it's also more or less like copying or duplicating, is using the spray tool. Okay, now let's look at the spray tool. To use the spray tool, it's more or less like copying things, but let's look at how it functions. Now we first select the object, and then we go to the spray tool. When you click the spray tool, you have modes here, or this menu opens where you have different modes you can choose from. Now let's start with the first one. The first one says sprays copies of the initial selection. So we select it. This is our initial selection, and you see spraying copies of the initial selection. Our next option is spray clones of the initial selection. First of all, I would this is still our initial selection. So now let's you always select, and then we go to spray. So we are using this now, spray clones of the initial selection. So we spray clones of the initial selection. What is the difference between this and this? It's the same as the clone. When we select the initial selection and we do something to it, like let's say I make it smaller, you see it affects the rest. So after cleaning, let's try again. I want to try this third one, which says the spray objects in a single path. So we go to we draw some objects. There you go. We have our objects. We select it, and then we go to the spray tool, and then it's here. We want to spray. Let's see how. See, it takes more or less. I mean, depends. It goes through one path, or it's in one path. Now the next thing I want to look at is delete sprayed item from selection. So first of all, let's spray something first. Let's select it. Oh, it's selected already, sorry. Okay, let's make some spray, and then we can. Now it says that this thing here, we go to here, it deletes, it does some deletion. So let's see whether, oh, it deletes it. You see, the moment I touched it, it deletes it. Now the next thing we want to look at is the width. This is the width of the spray area. So it will change the if you can see the spray, whatever I'm using to spray, there's a yellow circle here. If I increase this, it increases it. So let's change it to maybe 30, and then we will see how it will act when I try to spray something. So first of all, I have to select something. Yes, and then I go to the spray tool. I want to use the first one. You see, the circle now is big because I increased this, and that's how it becomes bigger. It increases it. This is the amount of if you use this will give you the amount that you want to spray at a go. So if I decrease it to maybe, let's decrease it to 10 or so, you see that if I spray, it's not as many as the other one when it was 70. You can also increase the rotation. You can scale it by increasing the scale, and the way it scatters also, you can change it. This is the focus, whether it focuses at one place or not. This here, let's see what it does. Apply over no transparent area. So let's say in case I have some area where it's not transparent, if you don't have this on, if you have this on or off, depending on what you have, you may not be able to draw on. Let's try it and see. So let me clean here a bit. I do Control Z to make space a bit, and then maybe I draw, let's draw something like a big rectangle here. Okay, now this would change. Maybe let's change the color a bit. Okay, now we are going to select this object here, and then we are going to do this, use the spray tool again. But now if I have this thing on, let's take this off and see what will happen. And I try to spray. You see, I cannot spray on even if I click. It's because this is off. If I put on, now I can. And this works in the opposite direction. So generally, this is what I wanted to talk about for today. Thank you for watching. Please help me by subscribing to my channel. Bye.